My name is H.A. Goodman, and I'm an author, columnist, and journalist. And to read my writing and to see my latest CNN appearances and my MSNBC appearances, you can go to hagoodman.com. I'm going to address something very important in this segment. I am not conceding anything. Bernie Sanders has never conceded. He has not endorsed Hillary Clinton. I don't expect Bernie to endorse Hillary Clinton. I expect him to fight all the way to the contested convention. She has less than 2,383 pledged delegates. She's the presumptive nominee who barely escaped an FBI criminal investigation regarding her emails that James Comey essentially stated he would have locked up anyone in her position. He will now be testifying in front of Congress tomorrow. And of course, I'll do a segment about that. But this segment is addressing the possibility that Bernie Sanders might endorse Hillary Clinton. This is a possibility. I don't expect this to take place, but I am going to explain my vantage point and why I would never, ever in a million years vote for Hillary Clinton. Now, I can't tell you what to do. If you're a Bernie supporter, you have to follow your conscience and follow your heart. And that's your decision. But I'm going to give you the reasons why I would never vote for Hillary Clinton, even if Bernie endorses Clinton. And I'll say this, before I go on, I've lost track, but in The Hill, The Huffington Post, and Salon, a total of something like over 120 articles in support of Bernie Sanders. You can watch my MSNBC appearance and my 2 CNN appearances, or 3 CNN appearances, 1 on New Day, 2 on CNN International, where I advocate Bernie Sanders. The CNN International appearances talk about my views on Trump. But I'll say this. I love Bernie. We all do. And if you've subscribed to my YouTube channel, you are a huge Bernie Sanders supporter. Or you just think Clinton is corrupt, is a corrupt liar, and you'd be right. But if Bernie ever endorsed Hillary Clinton, the first thing that I would ever say is that he is an honorable man. He's done a great thing for this country. Not to endorse. If he ever did endorse Hillary, that wouldn't be why he's honorable. I would first say that everything that he has accomplished, everything that he worked hard to achieve, the 12 million plus votes, the 1,900 delegates, the fact that he completely revolutionized progressive politics and the Democratic Party, even though today, apparently, House Democrats booed Bernie Sanders, which is another reason I would never vote for Hillary. But I would say that my first reaction would not be one of anger or disappointment in Bernie. That's what I'm trying to get to. So I'm not trying to prepare anyone. I'm doing this segment primarily because I have these lame Hillary supporters saying, well, what are you going to do if Bernie supports Hillary? This is not only about Bernie Sanders. This is about structural change. And I'll get to that. But I want my subscribers to understand, and I know that there's a lot of people out there who think that, and my subscribers are awesome, and they're amazing, and I appreciate you watching my segments. But what Bernie Sanders has accomplished, what he's done, his honesty, the fact that he's an honorable human being, the fact that he doesn't care about politics as usual, the fact that he's willing to take a stand, the fact that he has been courageous and spoken on behalf of so many people, fought for veterans, fought for people who are struggling economically, pushed for structural change. I mean, took on Wall Street, is taking on Wall Street. For me, the biggest reason I love Bernie, and if you're a Hillary supporter who wonders why I advocate so hard for Bernie Sanders, is that he wants to end these perpetual counterinsurgency wars where half to two-thirds of all the Americans killed and wounded in Iraq and Afghanistan were the victims of IED blasts. We have close to 7,000 Americans who have died in both wars. We have over 50,000 Americans, according to iCasualty.org, who have been wounded in combat. We have, in one Forbes article, 1 million veterans who have been injured. We have a horrendous, still, suicide epidemic among veterans. We have completely destabilized the entire Middle East. We still have soldiers. Obama sent soldiers back to Iraq. To Syria. We have soldiers in Syria. We have Americans in Syria. We have Americans still staying in Afghanistan. Hillary Clinton would intensify all of this. She would send more Americans abroad. She would create even more havoc in the Middle East under the guise of protecting against terror. She couldn't type an email without an FBI criminal investigation, and there's still one ongoing for her foundation. She has no plan for ISIS other than intensifying arming Syrian rebels, and we just ended a program arming Syrian rebels. So I can go on forever about that. She's advised by Henry Kissinger. And neoconservatives have actually written an open letter in support of Hillary and against Trump. I'm not a Trump fan. But remember, if you're watching this and you're saying, well, how could he not vote for Hillary if Bernie ever endorsed Clinton? First, Donald Trump isn't deporting anyone. He's not banning Muslims. He's not building a wall. He's not doing any of this because Congress is not going to pass any of this. If you didn't think Congress would pass free public college tuition, they're not building a wall across the U.S.-Mexican border. They're not deporting millions of people. That takes billions and billions and billions of dollars. And Tea Party Republicans have been trying to do this for years. Never happened. The point is this: none of Trump's crazy schemes get through Congress. He's not a dictator. He'd be a president. As president, he would most likely utilize the AUMF, the Authorization for Use of Military Force, in a less militant manner. That's one of the reasons he's the lesser of two evils. But this isn't about Trump being the lesser of two evils. He is for a number of reasons, even though I view him to be an evil. What I'm saying is, when you look at character, foreign policy, trust, and the future of the Democratic Party and the future of the United States of America, Hillary Clinton is a corrupt liar. 55% of Americans have an unfavorable view of Hillary Clinton. 60% of Americans have an unfavorable view of Trump, on average. She barely beats Trump in terms of favorability. In terms of the latest poll, or one of the latest polls, June 22nd, nearly half of Sanders supporters won't support Clinton. This is in Bloomberg. In the 2 weeks since Hillary Clinton wrapped up the Democratic presidential primary, that's not true at all. She didn't wrap up anything. She's the presumptive nominee. She needs superdelegates. There's still time for yet another FBI criminal investigation. We have a couple weeks till July 25th, and everybody knows Hillary Clinton. Just give her enough time and she'll get into another scandal. And the public corruption aspect is still ongoing, so we're waiting for that. If the Republicans have more than one brain cell tomorrow, if they're not complete utter morons, they will ask the right questions of Comey, the Honorable James Comey. They will ask the right questions of him pertaining to how he let off a person that he stated was guilty. So that's another reason not to vote for Hillary. Runner-up Bernie Sanders has promised to work hard to defeat Donald Trump, but he's given no sign he'll soon embrace Clinton. Good. His party's presumptive nominee. It's okay. The article goes on to say, presumptive nominee Neither have many Sanders supporters. A June 14th Bloomberg Politics national poll of likely voters in November's election found that barely half of those who favored Sanders, 55%, plan to vote for Clinton. After this FBI investigation, email investigation, where Attorney General Loretta Lynch spoke about Bill Clinton's golf game in private, and Brexit and grandchildren, and then Clinton is interviewed by the FBI for 3.5 hours. She brings like 30 lawyers. And then suddenly, Comey says in a statement the other day, oh, we're not going to recommend indictments, but if anyone were in her position, because of the mishandling of classified data and the many servers she used, which is very interesting. I mean, I spent a lot of time on this issue. He basically said that she not only did she use many servers, but she mishandled classified data, and classified data was marked classified, and it was sent and received at the time. It was classified at the time that she sent and received it. So I went through the last segment. She lied on everything. Well, she's a liar, and we know that. But there's nothing that she told the truth about regarding the emails. It wasn't convenience, and you can't just claim stupidity. So Clinton is either saying, I'm sorry, I made a mistake, Iraq was a mistake. Okay. Then, of course, I'm not even going into the racism she used against Barack Obama. So if you're watching this and you're saying, oh, Goodman, H.A. Goodman is Trump is a racist. Hillary Clinton used a surreptitious form of racism. She used a 3 a.m. ad that was far more overtly racist than anything Trump has said overtly racist things. But in terms of a political ad, there's a recent controversy about Trump's recent ads, whatever. Yeah, that's stupid of Trump. And I don't know what his problem is. But the 3 a.m. ad against Barack Obama, our first African-American president, that 3 a.m. ad, Harvard's Orlando Patterson wrote an op-ed in the New York Times. Look it up. It explains how the ad contained a racist sub-message. In addition to that, Hillary Clinton's campaign sent out a photo of Barack Obama in African attire. That's a fact as well, in hopes of utilizing Islamophobia and racism in 2008. She wouldn't, even in the campaign trail, state that he was a Christian. This is all well known. There are other examples too. She used racism against Barack Obama. It wasn't just a heated campaign. She used racism. What I hate about the Democratic Party, even though I'm a Democrat, is that if it's racist, if a Democrat uses racism, it's a heated competition. If a Republican uses racism, oh my God, and I'm not cool with that either. The point is, Hillary Clinton, whether it's laughing at a child rapist in 1975 passing a polygraph test when she was a criminal defense attorney, or whether it's her voting for the Iraq War and actually furthering the myth of WMD, that's a fact. Or whether she pushed for the bombing of Libya after saying the Iraq War was a mistake, repeating the same mistake. And Obama said that's his worst mistake. And then she said after that it was a mistake to use a private server. She's always making mistakes. And people are always saying, well, it's Clinton. I don't know what we get in terms of the future of the Democratic Party. I've already touched upon character. Hillary Clinton is a corrupt liar. I love Bernie Sanders. I think he's fantastic, an honorable, honest, beautiful human being. And he is invigorated and brought energy, and his vibrant campaign has done so much for American politics. But even if he endorses Hillary Clinton, I'm not going to suddenly say, oh, well, this corrupt liar who couldn't type an email without an FBI criminal investigation and who nobody trusts and a person who is a neocon. Robert Kagan in the New York Times stated that Hillary Clinton's foreign policy would be a neocon foreign policy. It's not even my words. Those are the words of a conservative historian. In terms of the Trans-Pacific Partnership, she will push for that as president. She's a liar. She says she's not for the TPP now because of Bernie, but she does everything. All she did was adopt Bernie's stances during the primaries. She's a liar on that. She'll push for the TPP. Very dangerous. Keystone XL, she actually waited as long as you could wait to make a statement on Keystone. She was for it, and then she was against it, and that should tell you about Clinton's view of the environment. She won't ban fracking. Neither will the Democratic Party. In terms of wars, the authorization for use of military force, you're looking at somebody who's completely reckless. And if Kissinger says, hey, do this, or if one of her neoconservatives who advised Bush or who influenced Bush says, you know, you should probably send a whole bunch of soldiers, American soldiers here or there, because God forbid there was a terrorist attack, and you have to make a strong stance and engage in another guerrilla war or counterinsurgency war or civil war that we've entered and have to send soldiers to fight in, she'll do it. She'll do it. She has no value system. There's no value system there. That's the thing. In terms of foreign policy, the future of the Democratic Party, I'll get to. Character, there's no value system. Can you tell me if you're a Hillary supporter? And usually I'm condescending towards Hillary supporters because they deserve it. But I'm going to ask respectfully of any Hillary supporters watching, can you please, in the comments section, explain what Clinton's value system is? What does Hillary Clinton stand for? And of course, my amazing subscribers can go ahead and explain as well their viewpoint. But what on earth does Hillary Clinton stand for aside from political power, her own political power? Comey basically had to rewrite the rules, rewrite laws, just to not indict Clinton. Now he's in front of Congress. Attorney General Loretta Lynch will testify also eventually before Congress. This is even before a potential Clinton presidency. Can you imagine what the future of the Democratic Party holds? How on earth are you going to have a successful president that's always being investigated, that nobody trusts, that nobody likes? 55% of Americans have an unfavorable view of Clinton now. 60% of Americans have an unfavorable view of Trump in an average of polls, according to Real Clear Politics. So she barely beats Trump in terms of favorability ratings. The point is the future of the Democratic Party. I'll end it with this. And this is why, even though I love Bernie Sanders, if he endorses Hillary Clinton, I will never in a million years vote for Clinton. The future of the Democratic Party will take a shift towards the right. So President Obama won in 2008, in large part because he was against the Iraq War. That was a big thing that Obama used to win. Clinton voted for Iraq. She was actually much more militant. He was more progressive on a number of things. He won. The future of the Democratic Party is going to merge with Republicans on war and foreign policy. So when I say that people at quote-unquote progressive publications don't care about foreign policy, it's not just them. The entire Democratic Party has completely given up on the fact that never-ending wars are bad for humanity, not just for the United States of America. They have a lasting impact on American soldiers and their families. Did you ever think of that, progressive writer or Democrat who, quote, wants to stop Trump? You don't think of those things because it's not Trump saying something stupid. It's an American soldier and his family, American soldier coming back from battle, seeing and experiencing and witnessing the horrors of war that the average Democrat voting for Clinton isn't aware of, doesn't care about. They care about, oh my God, Trump, and he's going to ban Muslims. He's going to build a wall. He can't do those things. And then the thing I love, I find so ironic, he says he's going to kill terrorist families. The drone campaign under President Obama does that already. So all the things that you talk about, oh, he wants to torture, that Clinton was a part of that whole thing. Big time. So in terms of the future of the Democratic Party, you can't merge. When you have only have two parties, and they merge into one party on war and foreign policy, and you have a Democrat advised by Henry Kissinger, you have a huge, gigantic, enormous problem. And if you don't understand, you're voting for Clinton. So I can't explain to you the ramifications. Now this is just a 20-minute or so YouTube segment. But it's huge. And in the comments section, give me your thoughts. One of the big reasons not to vote for Clinton is that she would merge both Republicans and Democrats into one party on foreign policy. And she would use the AUMF in the most reckless manner possible. I wouldn't trust Clinton to type an email. I certainly don't trust Clinton as commander-in-chief. Donald Trump is a buffoon. I don't want him. I would write in Bernie Sanders if Clinton were the nominee. She's not. And I'd write in Bernie Sanders. I will never vote for Trump, ever. But Trump is less of a risk in terms of creating wars. With Clinton, all you have to look at is the bombing of Libya and regime change in Libya, because it's the same thing that she did in Iraq. She voted for the Iraq war. Bernie Sanders voted against the Iraq war. The Iraq war started everything we see now with ISIS and instability and the rise in terror. So I could go on forever, but basically, I don't expect Bernie to endorse Clinton. I hope he doesn't. And I hope he goes into that contested convention strong and with a vibrant movement that he's created and that you have all done your part to create. But if Bernie Sanders, a man who will live forever as one of the most honorable American statesmen, if he endorses Hillary Clinton, I would never vote for Hillary Clinton. I would never vote for Hillary Clinton even after that endorsement, because I am not voting for a corrupt liar who barely escaped jail time because the FBI didn't recommend indictments of a person that James Comey said was guilty. And we'll see what he says Thursday. We'll see what he says tomorrow regarding the congressional hearing. I am only voting for Bernie Sanders in 2016. If I have to write him in, I'll write him in. And this is a message to the Hillary campaign and the Hillary supporters and the Democratic Party. I will never vote for Hillary Clinton, even if Bernie endorses Clinton, because there's too much at stake, and she is not the lesser of two evils. Thank you so much for listening.